It's finally here. 334 pages, over 900 footnotes, and a cover designed by the great cartoonist Ben Garrison. My new book, The War on Conservatives. Order it now in paperback from Amazon because it's not available in your local bookstore, because I don't have a big publisher behind me, because I'm just a guy in my kitchen on a laptop, so I'm the publisher. But it is in stock on Amazon, so order The War on Conservatives now by clicking the link in the description below. And it will be on Kindle and iBooks and the other ebook stores soon, or it may be there already, but get the paperback. Books are supposed to be made of paper, not something that can be remotely deleted from your tablet. And as you read it, you're going to go from, yeah, I know that, to interesting, I hadn't heard that, to wow, I had no idea that was happening, to holy crap, the brand name conservatives never talk about this, but now that you mention it, it makes perfect sense, and your book is so thoroughly sourced, it's irrefutable, and I see things so clearly now. If you've read any of my other books, then you know that there are things I don't get into on YouTube, and I can't post on social media. Heck, I can't even do an audiobook version, because if there are sound bites of me saying out loud what I wrote, then I would surely get canceled. But thankfully, liberals don't read books. And I don't say that because I'm using some offensive language or hate speech or slurs or anything in the book trying to be provocative. It's just that there are certain topics, facts, theological views, and opinions which are third rail issues, too hot and controversial to talk about in most venues, at least until they become such a problem in society that the dam breaks and people eventually can't help but finally start to address them. And while covering them in the book still may ultimately get me canceled, my analysis is extremely detailed and well documented with plenty of context and historical information, which is a better way, I think, to talk about some things than off the top of my head in a YouTube video, or to tweet about them or post about them on social media, regardless of which platform it is. The War on Conservatives covers a lot of ground, from the left's attacks on American symbols and holidays, what's happening in public schools, indoctrinating the kids with Marxism and LGBTQism, the war on the family, on Christianity, who's really behind the war on Christmas, and it's not just some nebulous liberals. There's something else going on that's right out in the open, but nobody wants to talk about it, so I do. Of course, it exposes the rise of anti-whiteism, which is now systemic, censorship, and not just on social media. We all know about that. I'm talking about books being banned from Amazon and Barnes & Noble, not Dr. Seuss, or When Harry Became Sally, the book about transgenderism, which was banned, which got some attention. There are other books about other topics, like certain banking dynasties, for example, and white identity, which have been banned in the last few years, but nobody in Conservative Inc., the brand name conservatives, want to even mention them. So I blow the lid off it all. And that includes exposing the cowardly conservatives, the brand names who are more interested in getting a steady paycheck from Fox News, or hoping to get hired by Turning Point USA, PragerU, or the Daily Wire, by being politically correct and accepting the watered-down status quo of what conservatism has become, whose weakness in selling out principles for popularity has largely contributed to our country coming to the brink of disaster. So it covers neoconservatism versus paleoconservatism, and how the neocons took over the Republican Party, purging the paleoconservatives, starting in the 1960s and finishing the job in the 1980s. Most conservatives don't even know about paleoconservatism or how the conservative movement was hijacked by the neocons, so it covers a lot of ground and goes very, very deep. This is not just some milquetoast Republicans good, Democrats bad kind of book. Some things I'm not even going to hint at because, well, let's just say that they're quite sensitive areas, but people need to know what's going on. It also contains a very detailed plan of what needs to be done about the Marxist uprising we're seeing, and how we can preserve what's left of our country, or at least our communities. The country as a whole may be lost, but we could definitely work locally. So order The War on Conservatives from Amazon, and if you don't like it, send it back and get a refund. In college, I had to write a lot of papers. Most people hated it. In my department, we had to write papers on everything and then present them to the class. I was a communication major at California State University, by the way, where I got my bachelor's degree. And I really enjoyed researching, writing, and presenting in college. And in many ways, I think my books are much better than my YouTube videos, because the information in the books is more polished, because it's not just me talking off the top of my head. My writing process involves putting together a very detailed outline of all the different chapters, which contain tons of quotes I save and articles I archive for sources, and all kinds of ideas that I jot down when they come to mind. And then after I'm done writing the first draft, I print it out and I sit down and I go through it with a pen, the old-fashioned way, and read through it and keep adding things by writing my commentary in the margins. I feel that I can think more clearly sitting out in the fresh air, drinking my coffee with a printed copy in front of me, than I can reading through the rough draft on a computer. And then I enter in all those notes into the Word document and print it out again, and I do that at least 3 times, and it slowly continues to grow and get more detailed and more articulate until I finally feel that it's perfect. YouTube videos, podcasts, and tweets are mostly ephemeral. They're like smoke. They're here one moment and then they vanish into the vastness of cyberspace and are mostly completely forgotten about. But books are records of history, and they're often picked up off the shelf years, decades, or centuries after they were first published and discovered and explored by a whole new generation. Not to mention, books are deep dives into the subject matter and get into far more details than any podcast or monologue possibly could. And as you know, I'm not part of a network. I don't work for the Daily Wire, The Blaze, PragerU, or any conservative media company. They would never hire me even if I wanted to work for them, which of course I don't, because I don't like anybody telling me what I can and cannot say or do. I cover what I want to cover. I say what I want to say. And I don't promote garbage products or services by doing ad reads, pretending that I actually use them myself like virtually every other YouTuber and podcast. But that also means that I don't have a group of colleagues or a PR firm to promote my book. And I'm not part of the Conservative Inc. social media circle jerk who all have each other on their shows and retweet each other every day, which also means that they'll never criticize each other or call each other out when they're saying something stupid or selling out, because they all want access to each other's audience. Well, all I care about is my audience. And what's more important to me than the number of overall followers and subscribers I have on social media or the popular shows I've been on or who's going to retweet me are the number of subscribers whose respect that I have earned by being blunt and honest, even when I know that people will unsubscribe or stop following me because I didn't tell them what their itching ears wanted to hear. My last book, Hollywood Propaganda: How TV, Movies, and Music Shape Our Culture, which came out at the end of 2020, got to number 3 on Amazon's bestseller list of all books. And the Liberal Media Industrial Complex, which came out in 2019, hit number 2. So it's certainly possible to push the war on conservatives to the very top of Amazon's bestseller list. But to do so, you have to order it right now so that all the orders are concentrated, which will help it get boosted in the Amazon algorithm. Unlike the New York Times bestseller list, the Amazon list appears to actually be based on the number of sales. It's not just a curated list of the favorite books of the New York Times editors. So order one for yourself and order a few more copies for your family and your friends for Christmas, which is just around the corner. And if you don't like it, like I said, just send it back and get a refund. But I know you're going to love it. If you think my videos are informative, just wait until you read the book. Have I ever let you down? And a big thank you to everyone who's read my previous books, and those who are going to order this one here as soon as this video is finished in just a few seconds. And just imagine the liberal tears and those from the cowardly conservatives, the neocons, and the clowns at Fox News. If we could push this to number 1. So head on over to Amazon.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.